From the 1930s to the modern era, zombie movies have terrified audiences. They've also occupied a unique position in the horror genre in that they can serve as socio-political allegories. But of course, there are some zombie movies that exist solely to make you laugh. As with any genre, there are plenty of terrible zombie movies. But if the undead are used for socio-political commentary and the film is replete with all the frights and thrills that it can be, and the audiences cares about the characters, then it can result in a real masterpiece. So, before a virus turns us into flesh-eating monsters, here are the 10 best zombie movies of all time. Number 10. Zombieland.
Mother always told me, someday you'll be good at something. I mean, I don't think she could have guessed that something would be zombie killing.
Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, the writers behind the Deadpool movies, spent years developing ideas, concepts and gags for their zombie comedy before finally writing the screenplay. It was developed as a TV series before being turned into a movie. 100 episodes worth of material was squeezed into an hour and a half, and it resulted in the highest grossing zombie movie in the United States at the time. Number 9. World War Z. It bears very little resemblance to its celebrated source novel, but World War Z stands as perhaps the only all-out zombie blockbuster, with Brad Pitt in the lead, a globe-trotting scope and a considerable studio budget behind it. Mark Foster's film presents the zombie movie as a summer action spectacle with a worldwide outbreak threatening global collapse. Where most zombie films are claustrophobic, this is the opposite, offering up inventive widescreen imagery of zombie swarms. Crowds of the undead running en masse, scrambling over each other in insect-like mounds, able to scale walls through sheer force of will. Number 8. Reanimator.
Broken the 6 to 12 minute barrier. I've conquered brain death.
His experiments have always been unorthodox.
It was dead.
Based on a short story by H.P. Lovecraft, Stuart Gordon's Reanimator presents a different spin on the undead. Here, Jeffrey Combs' unhinged Professor Herbert West invents a lime green liquid capable of reanimating dead animal tissue, and which, before long, he starts applying to dead bodies. It's a swirling, pulpy blend of horror and comedy, and a bloody affair, even by go-soaked 80s standards. With a tight script and bravura approach, it remains sickeningly entertaining. Number 7. Wreck. A horror film that's actually scary. In fact, it's one of the scariest. Watching this film snowball into a seething siren of panic and dread is the most thrilling film experience we have had in the last 10 years. Wreck takes the found footage, Blair Witch Project style of filmmaking to the next level. The real scares come from what's framed off the camera. There's never a moment when sheer terror isn't lurking around the corner. The staging in Wreck is equally as brilliant. Wreck also has the creepiest kid zombie ever. One thing for certain, the last few minutes of Wreck will truly mess with your psyche, sticking with you long after the credits roll. Number 6. Brain Dead.
Your mother's dead, Lionel.
Now, whatever Mom's got
Who's your mother?
has caught on with the neighbors.
Long before he went off to Middle-earth, Peter Jackson was painting the town red with his ludicrously bloody Kiwi zombie flick, sometimes hailed as the goriest movie ever made. Equally inspired by Romero and Raimi, there's a real Evil Dead streak in the cartoonish slapstick on display. Set in 1957, Timothy Baum plays Lionel Cosgrove, caught in a sticky place when his meddling mum is bitten by a Sumatran rat monkey when stalking her son on a date at the zoo. She dies and then undies, and that's only the beginning. Number 5. Night of the Living Dead.
It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder.
They're coming to get you, Barbara. With his directorial debut, George A. Romero invented the modern zombie movie as we know it, an independent film shot in grainy black and white on a shoestring budget. Romero delivered a stark and subversive horror that established the most important facets of zombie lore and proved the director as a filmmaker adept at genre-infused social commentary. As Ben, Barbara and Mo hide away from the rising corpses in a rural farmhouse, Romero reflects ideas of racism in the USA, the ongoing trauma of the Vietnam War, and the American public facing up to the realization that their greatest enemy might actually be themselves. Number 4. Train to Busan. Forwards. Zombies on a train. Korean director Yong Sang-ho takes that elevator pitch and elevates it into a gripping, action-packed horror movie using cramped interior space and moments in more wide-open environments to stage breathlessly tense sequences. Train to Busan zombies are mesmerizing to watch, aggressive and animalistic, their limbs and spines contorting as they rise up to claim more victims. The result is stylishly shot and pulse-pounding with a host of memorable characters, particularly Ma Dong-seok's hulking hero Sang-hwa. Number 3. 28 Days Later.
Hello? That's 2. Only travel during daylight, unless you've got no choice.
This really is a bad idea.
Purists will tell you it's not a zombie movie. If they are technically right, they are also totally wrong. Danny Boyle's film about a deadly rage infection reinvented and redefined what a zombie film could be, taking the idea of running infected from the Return of the Living Dead. It's a gritty, gripping work with an iconic opening. As Cillian Murphy's hospitalized Londoner Jim awakens to find the capital city eerily deserted, until it becomes all too clear what's happened to everyone. If the rage infection wasn't perilous enough, Alex Garland's screenplay highlights how the surviving humans are just as deadly. Number 2. Day of the Dead.
Those are my men in there!
The final part of Romero's landmark original Dead trilogy is a more meditative affair than the previous installments. But it's a powerful piece with an angry resonance that continues to reverberate. Set even further into the zombie apocalypse, Day finds the non-infected population dwindling, with surviving scientists and soldiers properly cracking up and the undead themselves beginning to evolve. Enter Bub, an actual zombie hero, reliving echoes of his past life, and with a cognitive function that suggests not all of the undead are mindless monsters. Taking place largely in the confines of an underground facility, Day is a claustrophobic and pessimistic affair, wrangling with meaty themes of hope, faith and the futility of combat, as human infighting leads to more carnage with tragic consequences. And the number 1 best zombie movie of all time is Dawn of the Dead.
Afraid.
We have spawned our own savagery. Soon it will consume us all.
If Night of the Living Dead was the birth of the contemporary zombie flick, Dawn of the Dead was its coming of age. Bigger, bolder, more confident, and this time in color. The eerie tone of its predecessor is swapped for a rising tide of chaos and panic as the unfolding apocalypse spreads and a group of survivors hunker down in the local mall. If it initially seems like an ideal place to wait out the downfall of society, rife with supplies, it proves anything but. The zombies instinctively drawn to the place they were programmed to devote their free time and money to back when they were alive. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell icon to stay updated whenever we release a new video. Other than that, thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video.